So, hello and welcome to this live stream. Hope you can all hear me. I'm completely unprepared because I thought I didn't know the US time had changed, so completely unprepared. So, what I have to do first, quickly, I think I just have to. No, you should be able to see the screen. Let me just see if I can adjust that stuff here. No, that should be good. 1 second. Just try to adjust here the thingy because I'm unprepared, but I wanted to go still live. So let me just adjust that resolution here and hope you can hear the screen, see the screen, see how. So let me just. Sorry guys, a bit unprepared, and the reason is US time. I didn't know. So now it should be good. You should see the screen. Hello. So yeah, did the time really change? I mean, I have to check actually. I didn't verify. 8 Eastern. Because why would East? Oh, yeah, it's correct. It's crazy. Oh, I need to. Okay, right. But how do you know all this stuff? Right? It doesn't. You can't keep up with everything. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't really prepare because I thought like, right, I've got another hour. Don't. So let's still have a look what's going on. Yeah, obviously we do this. We do this live stream now every month, basically CPI, and we're gonna take a look at a few charts. You know, we take a look at these scenarios. Just in summary, Bitcoin, Ethereum have rallied since their lows, their weekend lows, into resistance already within just a couple of days. So they have moved completely within the range from support into resistance. By the way, I live in the UK, someone asked. Now I can't promise to capture all the questions here, but you know, hit the like button in the meantime so a few more people join us, please. That'd be great. And then in round about, 15 minutes, we are going to see the figures. By the way, I need to plug in my laptop because I was downstairs. Give me a sec. I don't want to run out of battery here. Again, I'm entirely unprepared. It's just shocking. So anyway, we can always add that to the end of the stream because normally I would have started half an hour before CPI. Okay, great. So I've got that now. I've got everything plugged in. Right, just need to make sure. Okay. Right. So Bitcoin, Ethereum rallied into resistance. A lot of the altcoins didn't really move a lot. Which is a bit strange because while Bitcoin's and Ethereum's charts look, you could say, impulsive or possibly impulsive, which could indicate further upside. But yeah, further upside, but I still look at a possible strong retracement that could be coming shortly, maybe even today. A lot of the altcoins just look corrective. So for example, one example was, let me see, I think Solana, or maybe that's changed. I didn't have time to watch or to look at all the charts today. But this here is corrective, this move up. So I'm not entirely convinced that this is already like a valid breakout to the upside, right? It could be in the shape of a diagonal, but it's always less reliable, for example, right? So best is, I can't really give recommendations or advice really, but it depends on what your plan was with any trade, right? If you entered in these areas, which I did for many altcoins, is it a trading position? Do you take some profits already, right? But the thing is, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they really rallied. What I wanted to show you as well is the ETH BTC chart. I did sketch that out on the weekend and finished it yesterday. And it just indicates that Bitcoin should outperform Ethereum in the next few weeks. And so far the forecast has played out because I updated on Discord Telegram yesterday that the triangle here is about to break. So this is the ETH BTC chart. A few people asked. The implications are that Ethereum is going to be outperformed by Bitcoin in the next few weeks. Not massively, but we talk about 10-20% of performance here. So interesting as well is that Ethereum long term, it's not a coin that is outperforming Bitcoin massively. It tends to do so in bull runs, but it's overall just a range. So we haven't really had that where people may often say that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. It's not really the case if you look at the ETH BTC chart. Yeah, a little bit. It's in a slight uptrend, but you know, it's not massive. And in fact, maybe a lot of people don't know that a lot of the altcoins are just random I don't want to say shit coins, but you know what, a lot of them do not outperform Bitcoin cycle over cycle. They do so in bull runs, yes. That's why it might make sense for some individuals to have some altcoins in their portfolio. But I keep altcoin exposure fairly low. I like to use it for trading positions, but eventually Bitcoin has outperformed most altcoins cycle over cycle. But what I really want to show you is here that we have this, on the ETH BTC chart, we've got this triangle, guys. And in my opinion, ETH BTC finished an Elliott Wave triangle. So we had the A wave here that was, I mean, look at the time frame. That was October. That was November. The high of the C wave was here in January. The low of the D wave was here in Feb. And then we peaked now in an E wave. By the way, let's just double check. Because target-wise for an E wave, you typically look at the 61.8 extension or the 38.2 extension, ideally guidelines. So here it got rejected at the 38.2 extension. Yeah, briefly broke, but you see where the resistance was, right? And we really will only get confirmation or a strong indication that the trend is breaking and that this triangle is going down if the D wave breaks, and that's at 0.067. Now, what does that mean? If that really breaks, it will most likely send us here down around 10 to 20%. And that means in the next few weeks, I would expect Bitcoin to outperform Ethereum. Now, we'll see. It isn't broken yet, but it typically when a triangle breaks, it comes down swiftly, and this starts to do it. By the way, someone is still talking about Kramer there. He apparently, now I didn't verify that, but I've seen it on a few news pages, and not like, I mean, proper ones, right? That he actually recommended the Silicon Valley Bank to his whatever investor club in November, I think, or even in February. So yeah. So by the way, what can we expect here today? I mean, I made a Bitcoin video, I made an Ethereum video, but what can we expect in terms of CPI? So for a lot of you who don't know, inflation data, that's one of, it's middle of the month. So this is the February inflation data. You typically can, core PCE, which comes out late in the month, is typically a more relevant one for the Fed apparently, but CPI is what everybody's watching because it is the earlier inflation metric. Yeah, it comes out earlier than core PCE. So CPI is to be forecasted 0.4% increase month over month. Anything below that will most likely lead to a further upside for Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto. Yeah. Because it would be positive for crypto and negative for the dollar, lower inflation. That's sort of how they see it. Higher inflation, means typically more rate increases, and it would have a negative impact on crypto, even though it's just short term, right? We talk about short term effects here, nothing that will substantially change the trend. And then we've got CPI here year over year, 6%. Again, same story, and core CPI 0.4%. So it is very relevant. It will come out in around 8 minutes. Let me just see. So the problem we have now is that Bitcoin Ethereum did rally into resistance, and they've got a structure nearly complete. So while I think there could be further upside, and we talk here about targets for Bitcoin, 26,250, there is massive resistance around 27,475. It should be quite strong. And then that would be really, really escalation. I don't think we get there, but happy to be surprised. It would be 29,466. Ethereum targets, let's also add them to the chart. I did take them off, don't know why. Let's add them to the chart because things can happen. This can all happen very quickly. I do last few events, CPI, they were a little bit of, you could say non-events, but I do expect some more movement today because everybody's super hyper nervous because of those banks. Here we've got 1792, 1871, and $2,000. Okay, but 2,000 in this particular move up without any strong retracements, unlikely. Now we are in resistance and the DXY is in support. What does that typically mean? That means we've got some confluence here that could indicate that this rally is getting close to an end for Bitcoin Ethereum. Now I'm talking about maybe short term first, but the DXY is in support. So if the DXY rallies out of support, typically crypto would see a bit of a dip. So I just see that confluence that DXY is deep in support, or not very deep. It can still come down quite a bit. In the end, it depends on the numbers. But what I want to highlight is that today, if inflation comes a bit higher than anticipated, Bitcoin, Ethereum already are in resistance, which means buying pressure reduces. Selling pressure can easily come in, and then it will drive it back into support areas. Yeah. So that's sort of, you need to be prepared for that. That's why I already took some profits. I took now 30% off my, no, 35%. I don't know. I posted it. Of the positions I entered down here, and I'm just watching now. They are not massively high risk positions anyway. It's nothing leveraged. They are spot positions. I tend to trade less and less leverage. But I keep a core because this could just escalate further. It's an uncertain environment today, you know, always. So I just talked about targets. So obviously I can't recommend anyone taking any profit somewhere, because that depends eventually on your own plan and strategy, right? It is what it is. Everybody's got a different, you know, two people can take opposite trades. They can both be right, depending on the time frame. Oh, awesome. Ethereum, ADA, actually, by the way, that worked out nicely. Was another setup here. It just needs to reverse now. So yesterday we talked about it could come into this area again, which is done. But if it, as long as it's holding 32.65 cents, also here we could get one more wave. So again, it's like, it's often, as it often is, with these rallies, it looks like if we get one more wave, it's a fifth wave, and most easy money has been made in this rally. That's sort of how I see it. It's a similar story to what happened here. The third wave is typically where you make the easy money, and then the wave 4 and wave 5 will get messy. We've got that here on the micro level as well. Yeah, we had our entry point down here, the support area, trend reversal area. The third wave rallied straight into resistance. And now we possibly have a fourth and a fifth. Current price action suggests it should still give us another boost. But that's not the easy money anymore, typically, unless this morphs into something critical. This is the area where I tend to take some risk off, just because it is in resistance and there might really be only one more wave up. It can always escalate higher. That's why keeping a core is so essential for me personally. Right. 4 minutes, guys, and I just want to see it. Are there any questions, actually? And I won't be able to cover them all, but Liquid Mafia, I don't understand the question. With what channel pattern? Channel pattern? Don't know what you mean with channel pattern, sorry. So Chris, there's a bear ETF against Kramer calls. Really? Hard to believe. If there is, it's a pretty good idea. Professor Alucard, no retracement is allowed today. We only pump. Maybe, ideally. Wait a minute. Okay, Cricket Catalyst. What do you think? Are we gonna see higher CPI data? What's your prediction? Well, I mean, I tend to just focus on what the forecast is, what the market gives us. Yeah, and that's 0.4%. So they typically are fairly accurate. The last month, though, was higher, and it could very well be that inflation is running a little hotter again, due to, I think they had some rebalancing done in the how they measure it, and I think I mean, I'm not following all those buckets how they calculate it, right? But I did read in a post somewhere that there are some elements that became a bit more expensive, and they could very well run hotter. But let's see. I mean, I tend to look at that and say, well, the market forecast is pretty accurate. Yeah, I mean, there's people who put a lot of brain power into these forecasts, so. If it is different, my guess, and it's purely a guess, would be it's going to be a bit higher, because that would match the chart quite well. It would actually lead to a drop, which I think is due after this rally, because it is like a 20% rally for Bitcoin off the lows. Now the problem that I really see is that a lot of the altcoins, they are sleeping. ADA did well, okay, but there are some altcoins that are really sleeping at the moment. Yeah, why aren't altcoins moving? Yeah, that's just Bitcoin, Ethereum driving it. And I think what could have happened is obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum are the less risky ones among crypto. And what might have happened is some people who have their stable coins, people getting out of BUSD, people getting out of USDC possibly, even though that sort of seems to be all okay at the moment. I think it's repacked, but still people might hold less in stable coins and might move a little bit back into Bitcoin crypto. So, I mean, 21 Nick asked, when is another buying opportunity for ETH? Well, I mean, I would let this dust settle first. But I mean, there's always a buying opportunity. It's just sort of my strategy is to buy the pullback. So for me, naturally, I would wait for the next pullback. Could very well be that we come down very quickly today into this area. That would be a buy opportunity. But on days like these, they can run into their extremes, so not very reliable setups. And then it could rally, yeah. So I tend to buy those pullbacks. It's a bit like we make higher highs, higher lows. Okay, so let me just check. If you guys see the numbers, just put them in. I'm just going to refresh here this investing.com. I think should have come out already. Oh yeah, yeah, it is indeed a bit higher. It is indeed a bit higher. So core CPI month over month 0.5%. So I did say I think if it is different, it might come down. But conversely or strangely, see a bit of a move up. So let's see. So it's a bit higher. Maybe Bitcoin is going to finish this pattern and then come down. But at least we get 5 waves up, which we have now, you could say, because we made a higher high than the wave 3. But yeah, what do some people say 0.4? Because it says here on investing.com it's 0.5, isn't it? Actual. So core CPI 0.5%. And 6% year over year, so that stayed stable. But month over month did increase, unless you look at different numbers than I do. A few people posted 0.4. I think it's 0.5, isn't it? I mean, happy to be corrected, but unless they get their numbers wrong here. But it's 0.5, so it went up a bit, month over month. But overall, year over year stays stable. So, wow, okay. So let's see what is going to be important now is do Bitcoin, Ethereum as per the charts, just finish here that 5th wave off. Oops. And then that might be therefore a bit of a fake pump now. Bit of a relief that we didn't go up much more. Let's see. So Bloomberg showed 0.4%. That's strange. We don't know what it is. It's 0.5 or 0.4. That's strange. If Bloomberg showed 0.4%. So the way this is going up now, it looks a bit like a third wave. So basically maybe a third wave of the 5th wave. We'll see. It will be. But I gave you the target, so they are like I'm not doing anything now. May take a bit more profits if we get to 1800. Did post it on Telegram yesterday. I've got it open on the second screen. I might just. So things can happen very quickly. So it seems like there's a bit of a relief rally now, which is great, because then we get clear 5 waves up. That would bolster the idea that if we come down, we might make a higher low in a wave 2. So I'm going to take this support area off now, because it seems like we had the wave 4 as a triangle. Did highlight that opportunity or possibility in the previous video. And I'm going to change it to a wave 2 support area. Because this is now, when we now come down, then this might be another long setup. Yeah, but things can happen very quickly today. So sometimes it's best to let the dust settle. I think we get the 5 waves up now, as per the chart basically. So from that point of view, CPI was sort of neutral, because it just sort of allowed now for the chart to play out. Get that additional wave in here. Bitcoin, Ethereum. Yeah, but then we are deep in, or getting deeper into resistance now. Now Bitcoin, for example, reached now the August highs, even briefly broke them. Next target then would be 26,246 and 27,476. But that would be quite a bit of effort to get there in a 5th wave, right? I'm also going to take that off now and change it to a wave 2, because we have 5 waves now as per the chart, yeah, and the count. So when we come down now, we need to see, do we get a wave 2? Because the 5 up could be a wave 1. If it doesn't, yeah, or it's just a completion here of the fifth wave. Professor, great, good news. Thank you very much. Highly appreciated. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So we can hang around a bit, but so it would still be interesting. What core is 0.5 and CPI is 0.4, but core is okay. Oh yeah, it is. Come on, 0.4. Maybe I completely missed it. Yeah, CPI is 0.4. That's correct. All right, okay. And core is a bit higher, but people don't care. So okay, I don't know if that wasn't here a minute ago or I just missed it. But no, okay, CPI is 0.4%, yeah, okay. So basically, forecast worked out then, yeah, core CPI a bit higher, but apparently that doesn't matter. And that gives a bit of a relief rally. Let's the chart play out now. And bear in mind, we've now broken above the February highs and also the August highs. Now, we're still, I think, fighting with it, so it's not a substantial or sustained break, but as you can see here, this was the resistance back in August. Same level, basically, 25,200 roughly. Yeah, so the range 25,200 to 25,300. That's resistance. And then I've got these FIB resistances here. And we are fighting with this one at 25,300 basically. Then we'll have 26,246 as a key level and that 27,480. I think that's going to be quite strong. So yeah, it's going to be, I still think Bitcoin, Ethereum, they are sort of towards the end of that particular rally there. I think we are due a move down shortly. And the reason is this wave 5 is basically in now. It can still pump higher, but it is sort of the last wave. It should be at least. And also we're looking at the altcoins. Now, for example, Solana here. Also would be great to get this fifth wave in here, but that would finish a 5-wave move again, but it would be a diagonal. And then we are going to see if it can hold a higher low in a wave 2. So this could be a wave 1 and then the move down in wave 2, higher low basically. But yeah, altcoins not doing much. I think most focus on Bitcoin, Ethereum, which is good because that is typically how you would expect a rally to start, isn't it? Bitcoin, Ethereum moving first, altcoins to follow. But yeah, we can really only look at what we see in the chart, and we see here possible 5-wave move up. That would increase probabilities that on the way down, we're going to hold now this yellow support area, which is between 22,570 and 20,850 for Bitcoin, and 1552 and 1449 for Ethereum, right? Okay, and I think a lot of people ask for, so we take a look at DOT, but I think for many of these coins we don't, let me see. They're a bit dead at the moment. Oh, okay. So also here, I think we might get that fifth wave in. I think I talked about that in yesterday's video. That here this was possibly a third. Maybe the fourth was also a triangle, and we're now pushing higher here in the fifth wave. Also here, DOT, the same story like Bitcoin, Ethereum. It indicates, I mean, this count at least would indicate there is only this fifth wave here to follow, and then we are due probably a retracement. Now, it always rallies as long as it rallies, right? Therefore, you can use a trend line, and it will probably follow this trend as long as it stays above the trend line. But if you see a break of that doesn't make sense. If you see a break of the trend line to the downside, in most cases, it then would indicate that this move down is coming. So for DOT, for example, I would say we could possibly count this as a wave 1 to the upside. Now we need to see if the wave 2 support is holding. That would also be another, basically, well, entry point for anybody who missed any lower entries, because likelihood suggests if we come back into this support area, then it might be another possible entry point, yeah? Because it was before, and it would be again. Ideally, though, holding then a higher low. And I can only measure it from the current highs, but then you've got here this area between 574 and 551. This is what needs to hold. And most likely you would expect that to come into this 50% retracement area. So at least 574 all the way down to maybe 551. All right, 1 second. Just need to check something here on the... Okay, no, all good. All right. Gridbot's pinging away like mad. Yeah. It's breaking my heart. So ADA, I'm just gonna look, randomly go through like requests. I can't cover them all, unfortunately. But I will, of course, throughout the rest of the day update with videos and stuff. And anybody who likes to join the membership will get additional updates, of course. Written updates, signals. Okay, so here ideally I'd like to see another fifth wave, to go above the previous wave 3 high. So 35.2, getting above that would give us a clearer vision of having 5 waves up. But bear in mind that ADA, I did highlight that ADA is really, really below key resistance here. It so far hasn't managed to do a sustained break. That's 34.5 cents, really important resistance. Now it's trying, it's trying to push, and it needs to get ideally above the 35.2 cent level to give us 5 clear waves. Now, note that also here the third wave is probably done. So you would normally say the easy money here, if you traded just this move, the easy money is already made. The fifth wave is always getting messy because the fourth wave is usually messy. So you sometimes don't really know, has the fifth wave already started? Is this still a wave 4, maybe as a triangle? But if we say, okay, maybe wave 4 bottomed here, what would be the target for the fifth wave to the upside? Then we take here the length of waves 1 through 3, go to the low of the fourth, and then we get our targets here between the 38.2 extension, which is 35.8 cents, could just be a wick to that level and then coming down and retesting new lows or higher lows. And the next target, 37.15. So that would fit sort of in terms of looking at the proportions. If it even goes above 32.1 cents, which I can't see at the moment, then we could even reach in this fifth wave the 39 cent level. But that seems far away to do that without any ABC correction before. Okay, so let's look at Gala. And I will update most of these today with just videos probably as well, right? So Gala, Gala has now reached the top of the trend channel. So also here, that setup that I posted yesterday on Discord and Telegram, and also highlighted in the video actually, worked out nicely. So sometimes people ask me, where's the next setup or whatever. I mean, I do mention them in the videos. I also post them on Telegram, Discord for gold members. I don't mention all of them in the videos, but this was one, for example. It always depends on what your time frame is, right? The green one here is sort of and we're still in there basically. This is a larger support area 4 or trend reversal area where you would expect the wave 2 that belongs to this wave 1, to land. So it landed there and it seems to be reversing, but we are still within the descending trend channel. Now, then you have within this larger setup, you have a smaller setup, which was the orange support area for a fourth wave, which did hold. So we're now rallying here in this fifth wave, rallying in the fifth. And also here, you see the bearish divergences. I mean, I don't even need to open the indicators to see them. So you make higher lows on the price chart, but you make lower lows on the indicator, like here the MACD. And that typically indicates we are in a fifth wave and is always at least a bit of a warning to highlight, okay, we might see here a turnaround to the downside. Because the third wave, especially the third of the third wave, typically has the highest reading on the indicator, so you see that. And then when you get this sideways movement in the fourth wave, you typically start to see sort of these bearish divergences. And then we're now just below resistance. So the fifth wave, it made a fifth wave, and this can go a bit higher, surely, but it's now, like ADA, strongly below resistance. And this descending trend line is very strong resistance, but a break above it would certainly have bullish implications. So measuring target for the wave 5, when we could even already have possibly reached it. Go to the high of the third. So yeah, target, I mean, first target here, you talk about that 38.2 extension nearly reached 3.99 cents. The next one would be 4.2 cents and then 4.52, but that would again be quite a strong escalation. Okay, like near, some people asked about near protocol. So again, I can't cover all requests here, guys, but I can hang around a bit. At some point, my brain will just go up in flames. But yeah, near as well. I mean, it turned around, setup. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, a lot of people want to trade every single wave. Now, I tend to let grid bots do that. Oh wow, Bitcoin is 25.5K now. Looking good. Anyway, near also turned around in the support area. So that was the setup, and now it's just anybody who entered in these trend reversal areas in the support area, which was here between 1.559 cents and 198, can just manage risk, lean back, manage risk, let it play out. Because the target for the C wave here, I'm counting that, by the way, as an ABC. It's not the best setup, but it is a valid one. A high reward, low risk setup. Count that as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. Okay, alternatively as a third wave. Now, if we look at this setup, the first real target here that we should be looking at, if this works out, would be 317. Now, there will be resistance before that, especially around 273. Strong resistance, and then 237. They are the key levels for near. Optimism, a few people asked, or channel members asking optimism. Let's look at optimism. Yeah, also here came down. That was a valid setup. It did break through the previous setup though, but obviously when we see something change, we can adjust the count, adjust to new possibilities and probabilities, and that setup worked out. It came down to the 38.2 fib level and is now rallying in a possible fifth wave. Here as well. Yeah, I mean, this looks impulsive, which is good. It's just that you basically have now possibly similar to other coins. I mean, I haven't counted the subwave structure, but best I could do now is to look at this as a wave 1, the wave 2. Then you have a small 1, 2 hidden here, 3, 4, 5. So this would have been like maybe Bitcoin Ethereum, the 3, the 4, and now also coming up in a 5. I wouldn't be surprised with optimism to test that channel resistance basically from below. Optimism overall, I mean, this can eventually go up to $4 plus if it follows this count. Now, I intend to sell probably around $4. I still hold my 125 position that I entered last year. So that's pretty happy about that one. I did take partial profits, but left 50% of a core. So I'm just not, yeah, I'm not, I mean, this would be great for a grid bot again here, right? But for now, it's okay. Wow, is Bitcoin 26K? See, and that's, great. I mean, nearly at the next target. Let's see. I mean, you would typically expect some kind of a strong reaction either here, but the way it's going now, it might actually break through here, and then 27,470. But I posted yesterday on Telegram Discord. Guys, do you have a plan? Do you have a plan if Bitcoin breaks above 27,476? Because then it could go in one go to 30K. Yeah. Do you have a plan? So, by the way, it reached the target now. Well, guys, we need to look at Bitcoin. I mean, this is getting interesting. We've got definitely 5 waves up now, which is amazing. So, and it broke, and it seems to be broken above the August highs. So it's all about, can we get above that 26,246 level? And I think it could. The way it's going now, yeah, I think it could. If you look at the subwave structure of that rally, we have to go to the 30-minute chart. It looks like, I mean, was the question then always comes up, was this a running flat? Was the wave 4 here or not? That's difficult, because then you could say, okay, do we have a 1-2? But this looks like a 5-wave move, a 3-wave move. So you can waste a lot of brain power on trying to identify the best count, right? It's tricky because there are different possibilities. But if we just take the most simple one and say, okay, we had a small 1-2 here. This is a third. We probably get a fourth and a fifth to finish the 5. So Paul, yeah, confirming. I mean, you already have basically 2 levels of confirmation that the bear market low is in. Yeah. Did say many times that if we get into this green support region and hold it, then we have 2 valid confirmations that the bear market low is in. And the third confirmation is if you break above the wave 1. So we have all confirmations we need that the bear market is over. Now, confirmation is never certainty, and listen, that very, I don't confirm at this stage that the bear market is over, but we can be more confident about it. I still don't believe it myself, but we need to be, we need to consider it, and that's why I don't, I didn't, I only took partial profit so far. We will have a much better idea if we break above 27,485. Yeah, this is sort of a key level. But yeah, there will always be, you can't, there isn't the way where you say, okay, bear market is in now or done, and it's definitely the case. But we take it level by level, but probabilities have certainly shifted. But at the moment, this could still be an overshooting B wave here, what we see. The thing is, if I look at many altcoins, they all came into their wave. Oh, great, ADA. Great performance. So they all came into their wave 2 support area. So either the bear market is over for them, or they do something like this. Not a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3. So for the altcoins, what we really need is a wave 4 and a wave 5. But it could just be that we did here an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So you always get to these junctures, and after that we could still make a new low. We always get to these junctures, right? And you need to make the decision: are you trading those swings? Some people might even trade intraday, or are you just sort of hodling, really trying to buy in the bear market, sell at the top of the bull market? Then you don't really worry too much about that question. But if you trade the larger swings, you always need to be on your toes and look at, when do I take partial profits? When do I scale out? When do I scale in? It's what I tend to do. Okay. But yeah, we reached that target. And 1 second, just need to check something quickly here. 1 second. Just 1 second, just need to... Yeah, highly interesting. I mean, this is now a great time to turn around, actually, because it reached target, but it doesn't seem to do it. So for now, I would say it has a good chance to go to the next target for Bitcoin, yeah? Right, I mean, DOT, we talked about DOT, didn't we? But yeah, DOT also follows the count, higher high. I think it's due now at some point a pullback in a wave 2. And that would be a possibility to scale up a trade, right? But I will wait when the dust has settled. For channel members, there will be today. I didn't do it yesterday because of CPI. I wanted to do it, but then there's other stuff that came up. But I'll do an opportunities video today, and it's a good time because then when we have a confirmed top in place for these coins, in my opinion, there will be better or new pullback trade setups. So I normally put these into the opportunities video. Now, obviously, we're just coming from a setup. I sometimes get questions, when is the next time to get in? Well, we talked about this setup for weeks. We came into the support area, and you know, there is not immediately another setup. I mean, there are setups every day, but it depends on, are you trading the lower time frames or whatever. But this was a great setup. Now, if it comes back in a wave 2, then that will be the next setup, right? But it won't do that until it breaks below the trend line. Okay, so ADA we looked at. Let's look at Mana. Okay, yeah, so Mana also, see, all these setups worked out so nicely. I mean, you have setups every day, right? And I posted one yesterday and also talked about in the video. That was another entry point here for Mana, this wave 4 support area, and we're now rallying in the 5th wave. Here, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to that descending trend line. But also here, no larger pullback has started yet. And if we get those 5 waves, which we've got now, I'm counting that move down complete. I will adjust the chart later. So yeah, it looks like it's following the count as well here to the upside. That was a long trade setup for anybody who wanted to use it. And as it, you know, we had a lot of great additional setups yesterday that I posted. Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, Mana, I think Gala was one. And you can nail them really well in an impulsive structure because Fibonacci levels are clear. So corrections are always messy and hard to trade, but impulses, that's when you need to be awake. So yeah, MK, we looked at NEAR. I actually update NEAR sometimes. I've got it in my charts for the channel members as well. So NEAR, just a summary because we talked about it. It's left its trade setup, trend reversal area as well. So now anybody who entered in the area just can let it play out. But also here we are probably close to finishing 5 waves. Aptos, just try to randomly cover the requests. But yeah, when dust is settled, I will make more videos later anyway. So yeah, Aptos seems to also have followed the count and is breaking to the upside, which is fantastic. Here, I would now say it has bottomed. Yeah, with as much likelihood as it can do it now. We will get clarity when it retraces again. But as I said in the videos, as soon as it breaks out of the corrective price channel, it's probably going to take it, you know. Bitcoin, okay, Bitcoin reached target, still below the target level. But next one would be 27,476. I've got a feeling it might test that, but we'll see. That's the next target. Good, Solana nearly at the top of the channel. Optimism also nearly getting there, yeah. Gala broke out of the channel, so things are playing out. It's fantastic. Yeah, and the next, in my opinion, really reliable. I mean, we had a setup yesterday, but it was just sort of a lower time frame setup. But the next good setup, in my opinion, will come when we get the first retracement. Now, when will that exactly be? It's hard to say, but Gala now reached the next target, 38.2 fib extension, 3.99 cents. We just talked about it. Next one would probably be here, 4.1, 4.2 cents. If Bitcoin can also push higher. ETH is on its way to the next target, 1792. Okay, let's look at Matic. By the way, hit the like button, guys. There's only 300 likes. Push it. Oh, great. So Matic also has 5 waves up, right? It's got 5 up. So not entirely clear though. Let me just look at this. Yeah, there's different ways of counting this. I mean, you can say we have an ending diagonal, or sorry, not an ending. Yeah, basically a diagonal pattern. I think that's the best way of counting it. Also here with a trend line, basically that it's moving in a channel or even an ascending wedge. Yeah, and it soon has his 5 waves complete, and then we should also see here. If it's got 5, there's a good likelihood we're going to hold a wave 2 support. 1, 2, and I will try to put all of that together in the opportunities video today for channel members. So I'll probably work on that this afternoon. Now, these retracements typically wouldn't happen in half a day or so. But what you can expect after such a move, yeah, I mean, we've now rallied again in a few days out of all my support areas quite substantially. When you then get this correction, the first correction, the A wave can typically be quite swift. So A wave, if it's an impulse, it can come down very strong and quickly. Then you typically get a messy B wave and a C wave down, right? So just be prepared for that, mentally especially. Okay, Q and T. I've got a feeling Q and T did break out as well. Yep. It's broke out of the trend channel as well. So here it would have been, I mean, okay, we had two scenarios basically. The idea here was that we could go higher in a C wave. So we had a setup here. That setup worked out as well. But in terms of the higher degree scenario, what might be happening here is that we don't get one more low. I mean, we had two scenarios, a 1-2, 1-2 setup. And yeah, if this now works out and follows through, and I need to look at the chart in more detail, but this still looks very corrective. But if we get really 5 waves up here, this could eventually also take $200 plus. But I don't like the look of it yet. So I'm not going to change the count yet. But that's Q and T. Okay, Link. Okay, Link is now also, let me just see, why do we have that resistance? Oh yeah, Link follows through. So we talked about it, I think in the previous videos, that Link, in any case, I would expect a reversal from here, either in a wave 2, which is the bearish version, where we would make a lower low afterwards, but it needs to stay below 787 then, or in a more bullish count, yeah, we could be looking here at this. So also 5 waves up, nearly complete. So it might push a bit higher. Resistance starts here at 716, 745, and 787. Oh, great, guys. So those likes doubled in 10 minutes. So hit more likes. likes, please. Okay. Oh, it's just great to see this play out. And I'm sure my grid bots are going to love it now. I haven't checked them today. I have the feeling I need to adjust. Okay, I can't do anything. I can't. Anyway, I need to adjust the upper bound range for my Bitcoin grid bot, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I think so. But yeah, Bitcoin makes an attempt to push higher. I think it wouldn't be a surprise to reach that 27,476 level. Welcome, Mahmoud. Okay, Phantom is going crazy. Okay. See, they're all rallying now, guys. They're all rallying, and sometimes it's just good to let the dust settle. Yeah, okay, Phantom does also turn around in the support area. Actually, and that's really, really good to see. It actually followed so nicely the Elliott Wave count because it came down. This is an Elliott Wave trend channel, and typically you see those C waves end at the end of the channels. So also this worked out perfectly. But I had concerns already, but sometimes it's just good to stick with the plan. Now I didn't buy Phantom. I bought a lot of other coins because you can't manage them all. Okay. But yeah, the point here, I mean, it's going to try to break out of the channel. Breaking out of the corrective price channel would have bullish implications. Complete rally, as it seemed, 26,500 for Bitcoin. And I mean, let's be honest, this makes the impression of being a third wave. I mean, it seems crazy to believe the bull run has started, and at the moment I'm not suggesting it really, but we just look at the chart and the structure suggests it at the moment, right? But there's always another possibility. It could just be an extended bear market rally. Just to explain that again, structurally, Bitcoin, for example, yes, we count it as a wave 1 to the upside in the bullish count, a wave 2 to the downside, had our important setup here. And now we could say, okay, we are rallying now in a third wave. But this could also just have been an A wave, this here a B wave. We're moving up in a C wave to 35K plus or whatever. And then we can still make a new low. That's still possible. That's why risk management is so important. But yeah, we only made the member live stream on a couple of days ago, and I put it in there on the slides that I covered. If you don't buy these prices, and we were still down here, yeah, you might miss a great opportunity, because this is still the bear market. I mean, we're still officially in the bear market, you could say, but having some exposure, if you want to be in crypto, having some exposure is always useful. And not everything needs to be a trading position. Have a solid base, make it part of your portfolio. So yes, the 27.5k is going to be massive resistance for Bitcoin, okay? Okay, Mambali asked about Silica. Let's see if I actually have a chart, because I'm not entirely sure. Okay, I think we talked about it in the live stream or so. So it nailed that support area as well. So we also here had a trade setup. I don't make videos on SIL, but I think I talked about it in one of the live streams. Because I have a chart, right? So we've got that support area for the wave 2, came down to the golden ratio and is rallying now as well. So here, I mean, key resistance is for Silica certainly here where the wave 1 high is. So in that region around 3.12 cents. And then certainly this high. And that would be a B wave, yeah. A wave down, B wave up, C wave down. So we talk here about roughly 3.7 cents. And if it then breaks above it, the third wave, where could that take us? At least we have to assume we're doing that now. I mean, that would take us to 4.9 cents. Okay, but that would not happen in a straight line. At least we would assume it doesn't. So what it's ideally doing is forming 5 waves. And you could say like Bitcoin, Ethereum, we might have them nearly done. Wave 1, wave 2, then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So we might be in the 5th wave now. Next micro resistance is here in this range, I would say, 2.8, 2.9 cents. But if we break above that, then 3.12 will be next key resistance in my opinion. Okay, Aave. Okay, Aave also followed the setup, and it's good to see. I think, and it's, people can talk about Elliott Wave and say, sometimes it doesn't work, and it always works. It's just, is the assumption always correct? But whatever you're saying, I think, and not every, but let's say out of 20 coins I cover, probably 17 or 18 reached their targets to the downside. I think all of them reached them. Not all of them turned around in the setup, but let's say 17 or 18 of 20 turned around and produced a very, very profitable trade. And that all was generated by using the Elliott Wave method. Now, having good technical analysis doesn't replace trading skills. That's the other point, right? Risk management and so on. That's, but so measuring here, target-wise for that third wave, if it happens, and we're on a good way, it should take it to $135 if this now works out. But there's resistance along the way, right? I mean, I can't rule out that this is still some kind of a corrective wave up, even though it looks impulsive, because what we always need to see is the first larger pullback. That will give us proof. But yeah, resistance along the way. I mean, key resistance here for Aave. There's a lot going on here around that $78 level, but we broke that already, and then up here, obviously. Yeah? So there's a lot here around the $93, $94 level. It didn't manage to break above it. And Aave is one of these, actually, that broke the support. Yeah. But then, with Elliott Wave, you're quick to generate another setup, and that works out then, So from that point of view, when one setup fails, not a problem, you immediately have the next one. And when one setup fails, I mean, what do you lose? Maybe 1 to 3% or so if you set your stop loss. And then if this setup works out, if the reward is high, then it can generate you a 2x or whatever. Gala target for was 10 cents plus. Matthäus asked for Kronos. Oh wow, okay. So Kronos even green. Let me see. So first of all, the setup worked out as well. Yeah, so we came into the green support area and rallied. We can now take off the red resistance area. We broke it. And I'm also assuming that it has bottomed. At the moment, I have to assume it, which is great because another drop wouldn't have been good for... What, did you ask for Kronos or Cosmos? Kronos, isn't it? Yeah, Kronos. Another drop wouldn't have been good. So ideally, we see this reverse now as well. Head 5 up, possibly complete, yeah. Need to have a bit of patience until we get the first resistance. This, I cannot count this as a diagonal anymore, to be honest. So I have to find a way to count this more more bullishly, but need to think about this. The problem is this wave 1 is a 3-wave move, okay? So ideally we have a diagonal, but maybe a larger one. So maybe this is still the 3rd. Something like that, yeah. But I would need to, I don't know. It's obviously turned around, so what is next resistance? Oops, delete it. So also here, I mean, substantial rally out of all these support areas. And yeah, the problem is I don't have a very good picture of what this could be. Maybe this was the... Because you had 3 waves in the one. I mean, there's no way around. And to count the one here and then have an overshooting B wave, it just doesn't... I could do it and then I have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Probably like that as a diagonal, but then I don't have very well-defined trend lines either. Now they sometimes break out of these trend lines briefly before they come down, but that count also doesn't add up. So I need to think about that a bit more, but it's moving higher, broke out of support. Whatever it's doing, it needs to stay when it comes down above the 78.6 retracement to avoid another low. At least to give us further upside going forward, and that would be from the current high measured, the 6.4 cent level. Okay. Okay, Attila asked for AVAX. Right, AVAX. Again, here we had another setup yesterday. Worked out as well for this 4th wave. We only touched it, but we briefly touched that fib level at 1623 and now see that 5th wave rally. 5th waves can extend quite a bit for cryptos. We've learned that, and it's doing that. Yeah. At the moment, I count it as a 5th wave, and looks like we might have had a small 1-2 setup here. This might be a 3rd of the 5th now. And I gave you in yesterday's video, I think, a couple of targets, but they have to be adjusted because the 4th wave didn't get down to the 38.2 fib. It only came to the first level of the fib. So we adjust targets, and here it broke already 1734. Next target would be 1805. Again, here I wouldn't be too surprised to get there, actually, before we see a stronger retracement, right? So Bitcoin's still fighting with that 38.2 extension level, but also here it might come to that 27,470 level. But there will be a strong retracement at some point afterwards. But don't get me wrong, you know what happens. There was no strong retracement in this rally to the upside. There just wasn't, and it was a wave 3. So a lot of people waited, including myself actually, for a deep retracement. It didn't happen. So you learn from it, right? And adjust your strategy. So it might very well be we just escalate higher and get extensions. That is typically not ideal and not what you can primarily expect. But it is what it is. You get these crazy third wave extensions and prices can just... I mean, this third wave was absolutely crazy. This third wave rallied to the 5.618, 600% extension. So the wave 3 was 6 times as long as the wave 1. I'm not going to say that's going to happen again, but if we are now already in a third wave and we get an extension like that on the Bitcoin chart, now I'm not saying we will because it is a bit crazy, but if we do, and there's always a risk, it takes you to 79k. I mean, okay, that's not realistic, all right, but I'm just saying if you use those comparisons, that third wave was 6 times as long as the wave 1. So never hope for that strong retracement. It might not come. It might just rally and extend out. For me, it's more like mindset-wise, if the chart comes to me and if the chart does what I want, if the chart comes into my support area, into my trade setup that I defined, and all of the altcoins did, then I buy. Yeah. If it doesn't do it, I'm watching. And I might take positions here and there, but nothing aggressive. But this was a good buy zone, yeah. But anybody who saw my videos, I hope the boxes. I mean, the boxes were certainly large and colorful enough, right? I can't make them larger, can't make them more colorful, and in the end, you need to take those triggers yourself. You need to make those buys. I can't make them for you, and I can't give you financial advice because everybody's in a different situation. BNB, I saw a question. So here also we might be getting an extension here to the upside for BNB. Could very well be this morphed from an ascending wedge into a channel. But yeah, and if it's a diagonal, then you would possibly have seen here an A wave, here a B wave, and now the C wave of the 5th. That's sort of, and then resistance starts around 326 in my opinion, yeah. Oh no, here. I guess we are now starting to head into structural resistance, but I think strong resistance starts at 326. But they are all going to be due a retracement. Now I'm just saying that until that retracement happens, you can never say for sure when it's going to happen. Crypto can, when things are starting to move, they can move quickly. That's why I like to buy pullbacks so much. And by the way, also here the forecast on the ETH BTC chart is working out. Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum. The triangle broke to the downside. Did mention it yesterday to the channel members. ETH BTC chart, we do expect Bitcoin to outperform Ethereum in the next few weeks, because on the ETH BTC chart, the triangle is due to break to the downside. It broke today. We broke below the D wave low. That happened actually in this live stream. Yeah. And yeah. So yeah, TB, CPI came out an hour ago. I also wasn't aware that that US time has changed apparently, but not UK time. So it's a bit okay. Or maybe UK time did change and I missed it, but no, I didn't. So ApeCoin, okay, thank you very much, Marco. I don't. It's been a long time that I've looked at it, but Ape is trash. The chart is trash. So a lifetime downtrend. At best, I count this as a wave 2 to the upside at the moment. Yeah, ABC. And that C wave, we might have done a wave 1 of C of 2 or something. But this is a 3-wave move to the upside, so you could argue maybe wave 2 was already finished and we had a bit of a running flat. This is trash. There is nothing I can do really about this chart because it doesn't give you a long-term targets to the upside. And it's a chart that could eventually die. Now, I'm not saying it will, but it's not joining any of the rallies. It is below resistance. Yeah, and this is the lifetime chart. It topped in 3 waves. Disaster chart. I'm not saying these charts that are so bad couldn't become bullish at some point. They certainly could, but technical analysis is based on what you see and based on what should happen, not what could happen. Technical analysis is based on measurable targets, objectivity, and not on hopium. So this chart is making lower lows, it's making lower highs. And if you, I don't see personally any reason to be long here, because being long in a chart like this probably will cost you money. You work against the higher level trend because the higher level trend is clearly down here. Yeah, we've made lower lows, this bear market, new all-time lows basically. So why would you, you can do it, I'm not telling you not to, but I personally don't see any reason to be long, because if I am long, then I'm working against the higher level trend. So trading against the higher level trend is never really a good idea. In addition, yeah, it could rally, but then probably when it does, probably 99% of other coins are rallying as well. And we have many other charts that have much more reliable long-term prospects. Yeah. I mean, what you can't, again, it has come down here too much. I mean, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a diagonal. Okay, I mean, if you want to interpret it in a bullish way, then we had here a wave 1, but it's unreliable until proven. Here a wave 2, and it would now also rally in a third wave. Target for that third wave, first of all, it would need to break through that massive resistance around 721, and target would be 974, but a low probability of working out in my opinion. So that's Ape. Okay, a lot of people asking for Alchemy Pay. No, Steven, I haven't covered Alchemy Pay yet, but I'm happy to do it. In the meantime, guys, it would be great if you hit the like button. It would be great to get to 1,000 in this stream. I've got 780 now. With 1290 viewers, we should get 1,000 likes, right? Would be great. Right, here's an example of a chart that didn't follow the setup, because that happens as well. I'm not going to tell you all setups are working, but here, very important point, this was an orange one. Orange means higher risk. So I pointed out the risk here when I drew this. Yeah, the assumption was that we could have been in a fourth wave. Clearly this was not a fourth. Well, it could technically be a fourth, because you don't have an overlap with wave 1, but practically it's not, because it's retraced too much. So we basically had here a green support area at the time. This worked out for a profitable trade. The orange one didn't, but because of messy chart, I made it orange. So that's the risk level. Orange is basically the worst setup you get. It's still a valid one, but it's bad. Well, okay, so how do we count that then? So, okay, there are different possibilities here then with Alchemy Pay, right? It's a chart I don't like because it's too choppy, and the long-term chart. Is it not also lifetime downtrend or something? It's similar to Alchemy, it's similar to Ape. It's, okay, it's not lifetime downtrend, but it topped in 3 waves, which makes the entire chart unreliable. That's, I think, why the setup was in orange. So you can count it as a 1-2, 1-2, and I would have to count this as another 1-2 setup, which is possible. Or I'm just counting it as an entire diagonal ABC. Either way, for the sake of simplicity, I'm just counting it now as an ABC. It doesn't make a difference in the short term, so this move up as an A wave, 3 waves, yeah. Coming down in the B wave, finding support, we could now be rallying in a C wave. So the risk is that after this C wave, we make new lows. But certainly the C wave can be traded. And in terms of support, I mean, it did hit support. 61.8 retracement, golden ratio, and might be rallying in a C wave. And what would be the target for the C wave if it works out? Now, condition that this now works out is that it's holding the weekend lows here at around 2.4 cents. And if we measure target-wise for that C wave, the very first target for a C wave is typically, well, the very first target would be the 61.8 extension, right? So it's not a reliable one, but we most likely are going to see resistance there, which is 5 cents, because it's also the structural high. 5 cents, yeah, 61.8 extension. Nearly 1,000 likes, guys, so only 70 missing. So please, hit it. Yeah, hit it. Want to get 1,000. And the next target is 1-to-1 ratio, the 6.7 cent level. So that's where, if anybody traded this, I mean, it's up to you, but in my opinion, it would be reasonable to take some profits off at the 1-to-1 ratio. Maybe already here, because we're heading into resistance at the 61.8 extension, and then here some further, and maybe even speculating for the 1.618 extension at 9.4 cents. But certainly, you know, it's all a part of your strategy. So do you want to hold a core position or not? And do you want it long term or not? But they are the next extensions, right? Okay. Yeah, Banana Man, that's absolutely correct. Where some comments recently, I would be too bullish. Yeah, I would be too bullish just because I show long setups. But it didn't make sense to be on the short side, even though higher level, it is still high risk that we make another bear market low. But it didn't make any sense to be bearish. Just explained. A lot of people ask me, okay, you still have this bearish chart, yeah? A, B, C, and with a chance of making a new low afterwards. Absolutely, yeah? But that's now, first of all, that's invalidated now, basically, or nearly. Need to make my mind up about that. But a lot of people ask me, why do you not show the bearish count down in the C wave? Well, because a bearish count doesn't make any sense. 0 cents if we are above support. It's not worth, what do they say? It's not worth a hill of beans. Nothing, because you have a valid long setup. So why would I try to make the impression we are heading down? It's possible, but not until the long setup breaks. So you trade what you see, and you trade low risk, high reward. So when you're heading into support, it doesn't make sense to be on the short side. Now we head into resistance, so I took something off. So I took some profits off, right? Not to be greedy, yeah. Always taking the trader sometimes needs to pay him or herself. Be happy with 20%. I mean, you know, you don't. If you make that in a couple of days, you don't get that in a year. You don't these days. You don't even get 20% as interest on your bank in 10 years over a 10-year period. 1 second. Someone asked for something. Danny Boy, yeah. If you like to see written signal setups, then feel free to check out the gold membership. You can always try it for a month, and you know if you don't like it. Okay, Kyle, thank you very much. All right, Floki. Floki is not a coin I would normally cover, but all right, what can you do? I don't know how. It's probably a trash chart. So I'm gonna check a few charts just to see if we have a longer chart history, but yeah. That's probably the long one. Yeah. Okay. The high level assessment, trash. Okay. Reasons? Very clearly, ABC. So it topped in 3 waves, which makes any chart unreliable. It can still be bullish, but then again, I would rather focus on charts which gives a clear 5-wave structure to the upside, right? And this topped in 3 waves and came down, made a new low in this bear market. So the best way to count this, the most logical way, would be to understand this as a wave 1 to the downside, A, B, C, or WXY to the upside, yeah? And then eventually, that's a coin that's probably going to be delisted at some point. The way is, this could always turn to something bullish, yeah? It could be, but it made a new low, so it can always restart the chart, but then what happened off those lows looks corrective. So it's now hit resistance. It reacted perfectly to the 50% retracement, which is resistance for a wave 2. So until it gets, and here I would be bearish until it gets above, okay, I don't know what that is, 0.001756. I'd be bearish because this is wave 2 resistance. If it breaks above it, right, you can be more bullish, but then it gets nebulous. And it gets nebulous and it gets an unreliable chart because what could it be then? Well, we had ABC to the upside. you basically have an impulse to the downside. So it might be a larger ABC, okay? So what could happen is, that's a large A, that's a B, and we make a C. That's actually not unrealistic if we break above 0.0001756. But that means that afterwards, ABC, large, you come down like that. So it's not a chart in a long-term uptrend. So for me, it's something to avoid. But hopefully that explains Floki. By the way, I've just saved that now. Let me just... oh, what did I do? No, make a copy. Right, got Floki in my charts. Right, at some point I have to close the stream as well, yeah, because I've got some other. But Ajax, Sol, Bad. All right, Viot we can cover. So by the way, Bitcoin is fighting with that level. It's holding on a high level. So Milan, if you want to see a net gas analysis, I don't know if you follow my other channel, but we've nailed it with a lot of the entries and exits on net gas in the last few weeks. So follow More Trading Online and you'll see basically a daily net gas analysis. Yes, Chris, I do come from Germany originally. And we also have a German channel if you don't follow it. It's More Crypto Online DE. And we also have a German membership you could join if you're interested. So Viot, I don't like how it's moving to the upside. That's way too corrective, very choppy. Again, could then be a diagonal pattern, but no point in trying to count this subwave structure. The point here is whatever it's doing, and it will most likely break to the downside of that ascending wedge at some point. When it does that, it needs to hold a higher low, and then it could be a 1-2 setup. But yeah, not a lot of, I mean, it's doing what it did here as well, yeah? So I'm not happy about this. And it's also an orange support area, so it's higher risk. But still possible setup, still in the support area. But yeah, there's a high risk it will break to the downside of the wedge. Target would typically be the beginning of the wedge, so somewhere down here. And if it then forms a higher low, then it could set up for a third wave rally. So this could then be a wave 1, wave 2 down, and wave 3 to the upside. So Robert asked about my top 5 favorite coins. Well, there isn't really favorite coin. I treat most altcoins as, sorry to say, but shit coins, because they really are. Also from a chart point of view. Now there are a few good ones from a chart point of view, because in reality, 90% of altcoins died or will die in the future. It is what it is. They are good for trading, yeah, but for long-term hodling, I'd be careful with altcoins. I overemphasize on Bitcoin, Ethereum in my portfolio. But in terms of good long-term charts for altcoins, I think Matic is one. BNB is one because it outperformed Bitcoin. It's one of the few altcoins that actually outperformed Bitcoin cycle over cycle, much more than Ethereum, by the way. So BNB is certainly one for the long term, in my opinion. So yeah, Aave is a decent one long term. Solana is okay, and ADA, I think, and but are they my favorites? I mean, I don't really have a favorite. What does it mean, favorite? The chart can change from good to bad, and then it's not a favorite anymore. But yeah, they are certainly, let's say, solid long-term charts. Certainly BNB, Matic, Link as well, decent long-term charts. Most of the charts I cover are decent long-term charts, otherwise I wouldn't cover it. There's a good reason why I don't cover a lot of the trash charts, because they are, like I showed with ApeCoin, lifetime downtrend. Yeah, sometimes cover them if there's a lot of a lot of requests, but so no, there is no. So ETH is still in resistance. Yeah, but it's getting close to target. I mean, it's nearly there anyway, right? So we talk about the 1792 level was target here for the 5th, and I'd be ready. I mean, it's all gonna be about. I mean, this is a pre-stock market ready. I mean, has the stock market opened now? I'm getting completely confused with this. you know, summertime or whatever in the US. Don't know. Probably has, hasn't it? But yeah, you know, it's all about what happens now when the stock market is open, because that was a pre-stock market rally. So at some point, I would expect this rally to be finished. Now we are still in resistance. Now it runs as long as it runs, and as long as we are, you know, you can even draw here for Bitcoin maybe even a trend line. It's a pretty accurate one that's going to be, if you want to observe that, because you can connect those wave 2s and 4s. Oops, didn't want to do that. Now the question is, how do you do it, right? But possibly like that, at least you capture sort of most of what's relevant here. You might even want to give it a bit more space. The thing is, when it, let me just adjust that. When it breaks that trend line, yeah, that's probably when we're going to come down for Bitcoin, and then it's going to retest the yellow area. Okay, so yeah, so stock market has opened, okay. Okay, Cassandra, so we can look at Ocean. So Bravens asked me, would I buy Bitcoin? So me buying Bitcoin or you buying Bitcoin is different because we might have different strategies. But personally, I wouldn't buy now because I don't like to chase candles most of the time. I bought on the weekends, so I had my plan. I will now wait for the first larger pullback to probably scale up, buy again, see what happens. Because I like to trade pullbacks. Now, there might be people who want to trade breakouts, okay? But the problem with the breakout for me is always when you wait for it to break above whatever. I mean, there will have been people who went long above these August highs. So we basically broke above August highs. So as a breakout trader, you might want to do that. The problem with that is, where do you set your stop loss? Because measured the length, for me, from an Elliott Wave point of view, the key stop loss would need to be sitting below the 78.6 retracement. So that means you basically risk a 20% drop before you get stopped. That's why I don't like to trade breakouts. I like to trade pullbacks. So I'm always waiting for a pullback, because then I can calculate my risk and reward much better. Ocean, I promised. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad actually. It came down to the 61.8 retracement, reversed in the trend reversal area. And also here, yeah, waiting for the first retracement will provide the next entry point, in my opinion. Did rally, yeah, possible 1-2 setup. I mean, this is looking messy and corrective. Looks like a diagonal as well. Many of them are doing that. Unless it's a 1-2, 1-2 setup, but then this would be a 1-2 as well. It's all getting... You start to see the bearish divergences on the chart here on the 1 hour. Yeah, lower, 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 low, and higher lows on the price chart. So I think also here we're now running into resistance. This is a resistance block here. You can clearly see that around the 40-cent level. And there's a good chance to get rejected here. It depends to a degree what Bitcoin does, but if we can break, I would say, above 42.5, there's a decent chance it will rally to that B wave high at 50 cents. But yes, it's a decent chart. It was a decent setup we had here as well. So lean back and watch. So Mario asked for Ocean. Well, this is Ocean. Okay. Howie asked if STX is a good chart. I don't think so. I covered it at some point. Okay, but to be honest, I think this is going to be the last chart we're going to look at, because I need to get on with some other stuff. It's already been more than an hour. And then there will be the normal update videos anyway. But thanks all for tuning in, for joining. Yeah, so STX, I think I covered it as a signal. There was a signal I posted on Telegram or Discord at some point. So that's why I have a chart as well. Did highlight, okay, we might have made a wave 2 down. And then I said it was worth possibly waiting for 5 up. Those 5 up happened. And yeah, maybe it came down already in a wave 2, but that would have been a very short one, a very shallow one. So it didn't even reach the 50% retracement. So here I think we have still a chance that it might be doing this. A, B, C. So for me, that would be still a valid setup if it comes into this region here between 28.5 cents and 45.8. Is it a good long-term chart? It's questionable, I would say, but it's okay. It's you can count that as a wave 1. It's a short one though, you know. But you can count that as a wave 1. ABC came down in 5 waves, but you have an ABC. So yeah, it's okay. It's one of the charts. Altcoin chart that looks okay. All right, guys and girls, I have to finish the stream now. Thanks all for joining. Appreciate it. And let's see what the week brings. Certainly an exciting day. I'll update with videos, update with written updates on Telegram, Discord. Anybody who wants to join the membership to check out those additional extras, feel free to do so. It doesn't cost much, honestly, but I hope and think it's a lot of value. We also cover mindset stuff and things. So yesterday I want to introduce a Mindset Monday, because mindset in trading is often more important than the charts themselves. Yeah, you can have the best technical analysis. Even the best TA is not going to give you all scenarios and possibilities, but at least decent reward to risk setups. But if you don't have the mindset, and if you are scared to enter a trade, for example, then you know that doesn't help you, does it? So we start to cover mindset as well, to tackle FOMO and other things and a lot of stuff. So yeah, feel free to check that out. You can join on morecryptoonline.com or just here by clicking on the join button below the stream. And again, thanks all for joining. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you either in the chat rooms or in the next videos. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.